So you're looking at different areas in the city of St. Louis and you're wondering what's the big deal with Lafayette Square? Well, in this video, you are going to find out exactly why Lafayette Square is such a cool part of town. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you here. So today we are talking all about the neighborhood of Lafayette Square. Small area, but a really cool part of town in St. Louis with a bunch of stuff going on. So let's talk about what it has to offer. And really quick, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want to get in touch with me, always feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text, send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook, whatever works for you. You can get in touch with me. So Lafayette Square, beautiful part of town in St. Louis City. It's basically the whole area that surrounds Lafayette Park. So you have the park right in the middle of everything in Lafayette Square. If you're looking at things on the map, Lafayette Square is basically the whole area that is in between Jefferson Ave, I-44, Truman Parkway, and Choteau. And yes, that is how people pronounce it here in St. Louis. We call it Choteau. So like I said, Lafayette Park is in the middle of the neighborhood. It's in the middle where everything's going on around it. The park is beautiful, and that means that if you live in Lafayette Square, you're always going to be like 5 minutes away from the park because the park is very central. So it is easy to get to wherever you live in Lafayette Square. It is a very beautiful, very historic part of town. It is one of the oldest parts of St. Louis. So in some places, you'll have houses from as old as the late 1800s in Lafayette Square, which I think is pretty cool to have. Basically what happened in the 1800s was a bunch of people owned the land around the square, and then during the Panic of 1837 they stopped making payments on that land, so the city took back the land, and then a couple years later wealthier St. Louisans bought the land towards the south of the park, towards Lafayette Ave, and started building, big, beautiful, expensive homes towards the south. And then in the years after that, developers started selling off the lots towards the west, and then towards the east, and then towards the north of Lafayette Park. So by the 1870s, the whole neighborhood is being built up around the park. And that is why you have Lafayette Park in the middle of everything with all these beautiful, gorgeous homes that surround it on every side. And then in 1896, there was a bad tornado, people died, houses were destroyed. It took off the roofs for some of the houses in Lafayette Square. So that was, a setback for the neighborhood. So some people started to rebuild, other people kind of gave up on the neighborhood in the early 1900s. And by the time of, the 1950s, it wasn't really the best part of town. It didn't have a good reputation, wasn't really the part of town you wanted to go to. And then in the 50s and 60s, people started, buying back up these neglected old homes and restoring them, renovating them, and making them beautiful again. And then by the 80s, the whole neighborhood basically did a full 180. They turned it around. These places were, restored. They were beautiful again. They were renovated and rehabbed, and they were gorgeous once again. It's kind of funny because in Lafayette Square, you'll see a bunch of those historic homes, 100, 150 years old, and then you'll see some brand new homes, new construction, but they look the same. Like on the outside, on the inside, you can't always tell what's 2 years old versus what's 150 years old. And part of that is because of the strict preservation rules they have for if you want to build something new in Lafayette Square, you have to abide by, the rules, the set look, the style of the neighborhood so that it mimics that older style. So you have a lot of your rehabs and restored homes from, 150 years ago, and then you have some that were built, 2 to 5 years ago that are just as beautiful. Some people use the word gentrified, some people use the word restored, but point being, it has a very different reputation than it did, 70 years ago when it wasn't exactly the best part of town. In Lafayette Square, there are a bunch of places to go eat, shop, drink, whatever you want to do. There's a ton of stuff to do. There's a ton of stuff going on in Lafayette Square. And that's one of the reasons why it's such a cool part of town. There's so much stuff to do. There's so much food. There's bars, restaurants, breweries, ice cream shops, whether you want to get breakfast, brunch, lunch, have a nice dinner out. There's plenty of places you can do that in Lafayette Square. There's Lacadian, Squires, Square One Brewery, 1111 Mississippi, Bailey's Chocolate Bar. I mean, there are plenty of options for food if you come to Lafayette Square. St. Louis City is basically all brick when it comes to houses, and Lafayette Square is no different, but Lafayette Square has a very distinctive style of house that you will see, and that's how you know you're in Lafayette Square. And those are the Painted Ladies. So the Painted Ladies are these brick Victorian style homes, usually 3 stories tall. You'll have brick on all 4 sides, but then the front facade will be painted this really fun, really cool pastel color. You got a bunch of colors. Some of them will be pink. You'll see blue, purple, gray, white. You see every color here in Lafayette Square. They're gorgeous. I mean, especially if you're walking through the park and you just look around, you'll see all these fun colored houses. They are so beautiful, and that's really the iconic part of Lafayette Square. All these beautiful Victorian style houses that are all these fun colors. That's how you know you're in Lafayette Square. You'll see a bunch of these 2-story and 3-story homes, or they'll be like a townhouse or a row house. It's like how New York City has their brownstones. Well, in St. Louis, Lafayette Square has painted ladies. Price-wise, you can find something in as low as the 200s to the low 300s if you're looking for a 2-story townhome. On the smaller side, probably under 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. So that's kind of the smaller side. If you're looking between, you know, $200,000 and $300,000, that's what you can find. And then if you go up in price between probably $400,000 and $600,000, you'll have a bunch of options as well. Bigger house, either, you know, like a 2.5-story or a 3-story. You know, if you're looking for something more like 3,000 plus square feet, you can find that between $400,000 and $600,000 here in Lafayette Square. Absolutely gorgeous on the inside, and the thing you'll love about these houses, these places have massive ceilings. So in Lafayette Square, you will see these houses sometimes with 10, 12-foot ceilings on the first floor, and then 9 or 10-foot ceilings on the second floor. Like, the ceiling is huge. It just feels massive. It feels so grand when you walk inside. It makes the house feel a lot bigger than it actually is because you have these huge ceilings. And then going up from there, if you're looking in the 700 to $1 million price range, that's kind of the top of the market in Lafayette Square. You don't see a ton of stuff happening above $1 million. The 800 to 900 price range is kind of the top of the market in Lafayette Square. So if you're spending that, you're gonna get a gorgeous house, either, you know, a fully renovated, rehabbed, painted lady, or newly built, newer construction, gorgeous interior, you know, renovated inside with the kitchens, bathrooms, top of the line stuff inside. These ceilings, like if you want a 12-foot, 14-foot ceiling, you can find that in Lafayette Square with some of these, you know, Lafayette Square city mansion style houses. Gorgeous houses, 3,500, 4,000 plus square feet if you're buying one of these painted ladies or one of the newer built homes that replicate that older style painted lady. Just, they're gorgeous homes. They are beautiful. You will love whatever you buy in Lafayette Square, regardless of the price range. Now, if you're buying a house in Lafayette Square, you don't always have a garage. Sometimes these houses will have a detached garage in the back. Sometimes it'll be a carport, and sometimes it's street parking. So just know that because you're buying in the city, you know, sometimes you're not always going to have a garage. Sometimes you do. Sometimes it's detached. Sometimes it's attached if you get a 1 or 2 car garage. It just depends. And then obviously, you know, being in the city in a very urban environment, you're not going to have a huge backyard, especially if you have a garage in the back. That kind of takes away from your backyard space. But I mean, if you're living across the street from Lafayette Park, the park's kind of, you know, where you want to go if you're spending time outside. You know what I mean? People don't really buy in Lafayette because they want a massive backyard. They buy here because of the urban location, bunch of fun stuff to do, and to live right across the street from Lafayette Park. And then if you want to buy a condo or a multifamily in Lafayette Square, you can definitely do that as well. Usually between about 100,000 and up to the low 300,000s or so. Gonna be smaller than a house, you know, if you want a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, between 1,000 to 1,500 square feet or so. That's what you can find in Lafayette Square. But again, if you're buying a house or you're buying a condo in Lafayette Square, you're gonna be close to Lafayette Park. You're gonna be close to everything there is along Park Ave with the restaurants, the breweries, the shops, and all of that is why people come to Lafayette Square, because they love that urban environment, the beautiful homes and architecture you'll see. Just, it's a huge selling point of living in Lafayette Square. So in Lafayette Square, you're in that, you know, city environment, you're in an urban area. This is the city of St. Louis, but it's not like one of those super urban areas where you're gonna have, you know, mid-rise and high-rise buildings all around you. There are no skyscrapers in, you know, Lafayette Square. So everything here is pretty much just brick, 2-story, 3-story max, but it still is a very charming, very thriving urban area in St. Louis. It's such a cool part of town. You got everything you need here. There's the park, there's restaurants, there's shops. You live right next to I-44, so it's easy for a commute. It's a beautiful part of town with a ton of stuff to offer. So if you're moving to St. Louis, Lafayette Square is a great place you might want to look into. So much history, so much fun stuff to do. It is a beautiful part of St. Louis that you should definitely come check out if you're ever in town. It's just such a cool area with a bunch of stuff to do. It's so nice to just, you know, walk through the park or take a walk down Missouri Ave, Mississippi Ave, wherever you are, and just look at the painted ladies, look at everything there is going on in Lafayette Square because it is such a cool part of St. Louis. So that's gonna wrap it up for today. If you have any questions about what I said, or you wanna see other areas in the future, or you wanna go look at some houses in Lafayette Square, do not hesitate to give me a call or shoot me a text. That is my cell phone number. I respond to texts, I answer all calls, so get in touch with me. So that is gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel. That helps out tremendously. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.